This is the vlog for July 9th. Um, and I have a wonderful and terrible burden, which is too much free time. Um, I've been off of work now for 8 weeks. And in fact, the rep from the staffing agency that I technically work for called me up today and let me know that my job is probably going to be ramping up um, third or fourth week of July, so I might have another week or two off. Um, but things can change at the drop of a hat, and I could be getting a call tomorrow. Um, there's just no way of knowing. So, how have I been spending this abundance of free time? Well, the problem with having a lot of free time, but a deadline on that free time, is that no matter what you do, you don't feel like you have enough. And in this day and age, I find that relaxation is so important that instead of being completely constructive for most of my break, I've spent a lot of it playing video games. Warframe comes to mind, but over the last few days, it's been Final Fantasy IV. I talked a bit about Final Fantasy IV in another vlog, but today I'm going to talk about the other thing that I've been working on and why it's frustrating to be drawn into playing video games. I've been working a lot on this Dynostria campaign setting in anticipation of starting a game in the next week or two. To facilitate sharing information, I've actually started a website, sort of. I went with Triple Zero Web Host, which has been granted lots of high accolades by multiple sources, and it's interesting because they have some page building tools, but you can also download the WordPress software and use WordPress for your site if you so choose, and then you can upload a WordPress style site to Triple O host web host and do things that way. But I've never done web design before. I did page layout for my journalism class back in high school, so I have some passing understanding of visual design and use of space and organizing web pages, but it's a lot of work. I think I've sort of made it more work for myself by doing a lot of it on this laptop. I think I could definitely benefit from doing more of my work on my main PC, because just using a mouse instead of a touchpad seems like the way to go with web design. Or I could plug a mouse into my laptop, try doing it that way. But I do this a lot. I try little things. Like, I want to try different things to see if I can get really good at something or really enjoy something. But if I find that it's taking more work to get into it than I'm willing to put in, I usually leave it off to the side. I'm really glad that I've stuck with the campaign setting for as long as I have. I really hope that I get to use it and play at least a few games before everybody sort of gets bored or moves on to other stuff. But the website, it's more about me learning how to do website creation than actually like providing the information of the campaign setting. The information is going to be useful, but it's secondary to just me expanding my skills a little bit. I'm not learning PHP, although I'm sure that would be a marketable skill to have in my repertoire. But yeah, it's quite a bit of work. I don't know that the way I'm using their tools is ideal either, because I'm using one of their templates, but I'm finding that just starting blank and adding stuff might be a better plan overall, because their templates are all basically designed for business, with a few personalized sites that are just sort of like blog sites. And this is really supposed to be more like a wiki. It's supposed to be a source of information. So I've had to sort of make a lot of changes to the template that I started with, and now it's barely even recognizable as the same template I started with. But the that's a battle I'm actually fighting on two fronts, because I need to finish the information, like the gameplay statistics and whatnot, in OneNote before I transfer it to the website. I haven't even published the site yet, so don't ask about what the URL is or anything like that. I will try to include that once I have sort of the bare bones structure in place. It's at the very least I found a nice background. I use that map that I made with the Inkarnate software. I use that as the background, which is sort of it's good and it's bad. It basically requires white text to be sort of obvious and visible, because most of the background is blue and the black text wouldn't show up very well in the blue background. But then if I have the white text over the snowy areas, it becomes very hard to read. So I don't want to go with anything other than black or white. So the background is static at least, so you could scroll the text so that it doesn't have white behind it. But yeah, if I could come up with a better image for a background, I would. I haven't got anything like that right now, though. Well, I managed to go for 5 minutes and 6 minutes. Since this was sort of a weird day of lots of note taking and playing some Final Fantasy, I haven't got that much to say, so I'm going to cut it off here and just say I'm Eric Spornitz, and tomorrow will be better.